It's David Ducker coming back at you, and today we're going to be talking about problem GMs, the interrupter. This could be the poor pacer as well, but interrupter has a better ring to it. Although it's still not a great ring. This is not the best title video that I've done. But when a GM cannot do pacing, that is the problem we're exploring today. I've already done my video on pacing, how to do it well, and this will of course be me complaining about it vitriolically. So let me set the scene. You've got your players, they've all intricately made up their characters, fully developed backstories, personalities. They're designed to work together, but they haven't met each other yet. Let's go back to the tavern scene, the nightclub scene in Cyberpunk, whatever it is. So they finally, they come together for the first time. Hello, my name is Jethro. I'm a failed country music singer. And the other character can say, "Oh, Jethro, I remember your album. Hey, I'm Billy Bob, and I'm a rodeo clown, and we're gonna form this party." That's the intent that we brought them together with. But this is exploring the very first scene. So they start talking in character. They're discussing, their favorite country music. They're discussing rodeo. Whatever they're talking about local politics, religion. And then the GM cuts in. He says, a big fat cowboy wanders up to you. And he says, "Hey y'all, I got needs for some rangers to go out and form a posse and run down some banditos. What do you think?" Now the problem with this, if the players are interacting with each other, if they're having fun role-playing, which is the goal that we've all been brought together to do and to achieve, if the goal's being achieved, as a GM, the referee, you just need to sit back, relax, check your notes, eat some chips, sip some soda. They're having fun. That's why we're here. Don't interrupt them, right? If your plot hook is not more important than their role playing, so by coming in and interrupting, disrupting their role playing, their team building, and without that team being built, the adventure might fall apart. The plot of the game might never happen if there are no protagonists, if they don't form this tight unit to explore that storyline. So you need to sit back as a GM. Give the players a chance to be in the spotlight. The GM should not be hogging the spotlight for himself. The GM should not be shining it on his NPCs, other than to build them up to get the PCs over. But if the PCs are being built up, don't cut the legs out from underneath them. And that's what role-playing is. It's time being invested into them, is building them up as important characters, as protagonists. It's developing emotional investment and attachment in that character. Don't stop that from happening. You want your players to be invested in their character. You want them to form a tight team. You want them to have fun. You want them to role play in character. Those are all your goals. And when those goals are happening organically by themselves, it's very magical. And you shouldn't come in there and disrupt it. Right? As I said in my pacing video, the time for the GM to step in is when the players have run out of steam, when they're done talking, when they start acting, when the momentum is fading and waning. Then as the GM, absolutely come in and say, okay, they've been introduced, they're drinking, there's a lull in the conversation. Then have your fucking fat cowboy come up to them and start rambling at them and talking to them. No problem at all. But let them become a team first. Let them exposit on their character first, to the best of their ability while being in character. And once that's done, then you can move along. But, you can't start making the sandwich until you have baked the bread. You can't take some just dough and get your meat and lettuce and tomato and cucumbers and just wrap it around in dough and eat it. The raw dough will not be as tasty as if you baked it into some delicious bread. So this is, a huge pet peeve of mine, and I've seen it happen not just with character introduction, but any kind of role playing. I've seen interrupted by GMs. If you're on the Millennium Falcon and you're flying off to Hoth, and the characters are talking, Luke is going to Han, and he's saying, "Hey, what's your gimmick with Leia? Like, I kind of like Leia, but I've seen you checking her out. Like, should we have a talk about this?" And Han Solo would be like, "Listen here, Junior, it's every man for himself," or whatever he'd be doing. But let that scene flow. Let them explore it. Let them see if their characters grow closer or further apart. Don't just say, suddenly you drop out of hyperspace. You're at your destination. Like, yeah, we're going to get to the destination, GM, okay? We realize this. But on the way, let's have our role-playing scene, okay? That's what's fun for us. That's what we're doing. And that will build us up so we will be better prepared narratively for whatever fuck bullshit you've got on Hoth, okay? Never interrupt, okay? And if you're a player, you shouldn't interrupt either unless it's moving forward and you need to interrupt an interruption. If the GM starts saying, okay, we've arrived at the planet, you need to say, wait. Before we arrive at the planet, I need to run this scene with my character grooming Chewbacca, or whatever you need to do. Don't let the momentum go too fast that you lose the role-playing. Because the role-playing is why you're really here. Battling on Hoth, flying snow speeders around, that's not really why we're here. You can do a video game of that. It'll be so much better as far as, flying around in this fucking snow speeder. It'll be tremendously fun, dogfighting in a video game. RPGs are not as good at that type of activity as a video game. Don't play to your weakness, play to your strength. And what the strength of a role-playing game is, as I said in The Media is the Message, that video, the strength of role-playing is role-playing. You don't have a dialogue tree to be constrained to. You can say anything that you want. So explore that. You don't have a writer feeding you lines and story and dialogue. You don't have to be a writer and plan ahead. You can all be spontaneous as a group. That's the magic of role-playing. Don't interrupt that. So as a GM, you really need to learn to sit back, let your players have fun without you. Have a slice of pizza, sip soda, whatever you're doing. But when the action lulls, step in, by all means. But when they're already having fun, don't interrupt that fun. Don't take that fun away from them. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the interrupter. Don't be that guy. And let me know in the comments below if you've seen that guy, if you're trying to do something, if you're trying to speak in character, and he just won't let you, and you have to say, hey, we need to get the role-playing in. We need to build a team, or else we're not going to go on the adventure. I'm going to go, and he's going to go in a different direction, and we're all going to be broken up. Or, we'll be more interesting if we know about each other. Where are we from? Who are our parents? What are our religious views? Political, philosophical. All of these things that you need to explore. Give the players time to explore it. So, yes, in the comments, explore that with your mind. Video responses, whatever you want. And until I see you again, good day and good gaming.